Welcome to Parents' Domain.
Imagine a world lit only by a nightlight, its soft glow casting long, dancing shadows across the nursery walls. The only sound is the gentle, rhythmic hum of a sound machine, a manufactured wave cresting and falling in the profound stillness of the night. The clock on the wall, a silent, illuminated face, reads 3 a.m. For most of the world, this is the nadir of consciousness, the deepest, most restorative point of sleep. But for millions of new mothers, this is just another hour of being awake. It is a lonely, isolating vigil kept in rocking chairs and beside cribs, a time when the weight of responsibility feels heavier than at any other point in the 24-hour cycle. We've all heard the well-meaning but ultimately unhelpful advice: sleep when the baby sleeps. We see the curated images of motherhood on social media, peaceful, serene, a soft, focused fantasy of maternal bliss. But the raw, unfiltered reality for at least 1 in 3 mothers is a relentless, exhausting marathon of sleepless nights and foggy, disorienting days. It is a physical and emotional grind that goes far beyond simple tiredness. It's a bone-deep exhaustion that seeps into every corner of life, coloring every interaction and making even the simplest tasks feel monumental. If you've ever been there, or know someone who has, you know it's a profound struggle that can affect everything. It tests relationships, strains mental health, and can steal the joy from a time that is supposed to be one of life's most precious. So today, we're going to pull back the curtain. We're going to look past the platitudes and dive into the real, complex, and fascinating reasons why this happens. This isn't a story about parental failure or a difficult baby. It's a story about biology, psychology, and the world we live in. Understanding the science and the societal pressures can be the first step toward finding grace for yourself and seeking the support you need. For more resources on navigating this challenging time, visit parentsdomain.com. To truly understand the story, we must start with the star of the show, the baby. An infant isn't just a small adult with a simpler schedule. They are a marvel of development, a being undergoing the most rapid period of growth in their entire lives, and their biology is programmed for one thing above all else: survival. Their needs are absolute and non-negotiable, and they operate entirely outside the realm of social convention or parental convenience. First, let's talk about the baby's internal clock, or rather, the clock that isn't there yet. Every adult possesses a master clock in their brain, the suprachiasmatic nucleus, which governs our circadian rhythm, the 24-hour cycle that tells our bodies when to sleep and when to wake. This internal timer is calibrated by external cues, primarily light. At birth, this system is entirely undeveloped. Think about it. In the dark, muffled world of the womb, there was no day or night. A baby's sleep-wake patterns were often lulled by their mother's daytime movements and stimulated by her stillness at night. Upon entering the bright, loud world, their brain has no pre-existing framework for a day-night schedule. It has not yet learned to connect the cue of darkness with the production of the sleep hormone melatonin. This is a complex neurological skill that must be learned, a process that can take 3 to 4 months and sometimes longer, as the brain slowly begins to wire itself in response to the rhythms of the new world. Now, let's talk about the very nature of how they sleep. It's not the same deep, consolidated sleep that adults crave. It's what can be called survival mode sleep. Adult sleep architecture includes long periods of deep, non-REM sleep, which is physically restorative. Babies, on the other hand, have much shorter sleep cycles, often lasting only 45 to 60 minutes. Crucially, they spend around half of that time in a light, active state of sleep known as REM, rapid eye movement, sleep. You can see it when they sleep. Their eyelids flutter, they smile or grimace, and their limbs twitch. This isn't a design flaw, it's a critical feature for their development. This active REM sleep is believed to be essential for the explosive brain growth they experience, forming trillions of neural connections. It also serves a vital protective function. This light sleep allows them to wake up instantly if they're hungry, cold, or experiencing a more serious issue like a breathing obstruction. It's their built-in alarm system, and in the vulnerable first few months of life, it's constantly on high alert. And that alarm system is triggered most often by one relentless fundamental need: hunger. It's easy to underestimate how powerful this biological drive is. An adult can skip a meal, a newborn cannot. Imagine their stomach is the size of a cherry at birth, growing to the size of an apricot by the end of the first week. It can't hold much, and because breast milk is a biologically perfect food, it is digested incredibly quickly and efficiently. This means a baby needs constant refueling to power their incredible growth. Their brain will literally double in size in the first year alone. Waking up every 2 to 3 hours, around the clock, isn't a bad habit. It's a non-negotiable biological necessity for survival and development. Just when you think you've cracked the code and a semblance of a routine is forming, everything can suddenly fall apart. This is the infamous sleep regression. The term itself is a misnomer, as it's not actually a step back in development. It is, in fact, the sign of a massive leap forward. It's the sign of a brain on fire with new skills. The 4-month regression, for example, is often the most challenging because it coincides with a permanent change in a baby's sleep architecture as their sleep cycles begin to mature and resemble those of an adult, creating more opportunities to wake between cycles. But others follow. The 8 to 10-month regression is tied to the cognitive explosion of understanding object permanence, the realization that their parents still exist even when out of sight, leading to intense separation anxiety. It also coincides with new motor skills like crawling and pulling to stand, skills their brain is eager to practice, even at 2 a.m. Their brain is so busy processing these incredible new abilities that it simply can't switch off. But a baby doesn't exist in a vacuum. On the other side of the crib, in the quiet darkness of the nursery, is the mother, who is going through her own silent revolution. Her story, a cascade of physiological and psychological changes, is just as crucial to understanding this puzzle. For mothers seeking to understand these changes more deeply, you can visit parentsdomain.com. After childbirth, a mother's body experiences one of the most dramatic and abrupt hormonal shifts of a lifetime. It's like going from the highest hormonal peak to the bottom of a deep valley in a matter of hours. Levels of progesterone and estrogen, which are sky high during pregnancy and contribute to feelings of well-being, plummet. This crash can contribute directly to insomnia, anxiety, and the emotional turmoil often dismissed as the baby blues. Meanwhile, for breastfeeding moms, the hormonal picture is even more complex. Prolactin, the hormone responsible for milk production, peaks at night to ensure a plentiful supply. While it can induce a state of relaxation, it also disrupts the mother's own deep sleep architecture. So even when she gets a rare 2-hour stretch of sleep, the quality is often lighter and far less restorative than the sleep she was used to before pregnancy. On top of this profound hormonal shift, her brain has been fundamentally rewired. It's a state known as maternal hypervigilance. Her amygdala, the brain's threat detection center, becomes heightened. She becomes a human smoke detector, constantly scanning for the smallest sign of trouble. Her brain is so attuned to her baby that every tiny grunt, sigh, or rustle can pull her instantly out of sleep. It's a beautiful, powerful, protective instinct honed by evolution to keep a vulnerable infant safe. But in the modern world, it is also mentally and physically exhausting, and it prevents the deep, restorative sleep her body and brain desperately need for recovery from childbirth and the demands of caregiving. And this is where we have to talk about the dangerous dance between sleep deprivation and postpartum depression and anxiety. They are locked in a vicious, self-perpetuating cycle. Severe, chronic sleep deprivation is a major physiological stressor and a primary trigger for perinatal mood disorders. It increases levels of the stress hormone cortisol, promotes inflammation, and impairs immune function. It wears down a person's resilience and emotional regulation to the point of breaking. At the same time, a mother suffering from clinical depression or anxiety often can't sleep even when the baby is quiet, trapped by a storm of intrusive thoughts, irrational fears, and overwhelming sadness. It's not a choice or a sign of weakness, it's a physiological trap that can feel impossible to escape without professional help. Finally, we have to zoom out from the intimacy of the nursery and look at the world we all live in. Because this story isn't just taking place between a mother and a baby. It is being shaped every day by our society, our culture, and our policies. There's an unspoken assumption, a legacy of traditional gender roles, that the mother is the primary caregiver, the default parent for the night shift. This gets reinforced by countless subtle and overt messages. For mothers who breastfeed, this responsibility is often amplified, as they are biologically the only ones who can provide that specific comfort and nutrition at night. This is further solidified by structural systems, most notably the parental leave gap. When one parent, usually the mother, gets months of leave while the other gets only a few days or weeks, it doesn't just give one person a break. It carves a deep and lasting pattern into the family's life from day one, establishing the mother as the go-to expert for every cry, every feeding, and every sleepless night. This early imbalance in caregiving can be incredibly difficult to recalibrate later on. All these factors, the baby's intricate and demanding biology, the mother's profound physiological changes, and our broad societal structures create a perfect storm. This storm funnels the immense, unrelenting pressure of a baby's natural, normal, and necessary sleep patterns directly onto the mother. So, if you are a mother in the thick of this, reading this on your phone in the dead of night with a baby in your arms, know this: your exhaustion is not a sign of failure. It is a testament to the incredible 24-hour-a-day work you are doing to nurture a new life. It is the physical evidence of your body and mind responding exactly as they are meant to in this extraordinary and temporary season of life. And for the rest of USA's partners, friends, family, and colleagues, understanding this reality is key. It is our responsibility to be the support system that our society sometimes fails to be. Let's replace judgment with a hot meal left on the doorstep. Let's replace unsolicited advice with a genuine, "How are you doing, really?" And then truly listen to the answer without trying to fix it. Let's offer an hour of childcare so a mother can take a nap or a shower, a small gesture that can feel like a lifeline. Because raising the next generation is the most important and fundamental work there is, and it should never have to be done alone or in the dark. For a community of support and more parenting tips, visit parentsdomain.com.